Yeah, the whole team is against Tebow, it seems like. And there's just no reason for it. The guy's not even playing. Why are we talking about a guy who plays 2 plays a game, if that? Why is he the focal point of what you feel the need to talk about as a team? You don't want to talk about your ugly 3-6 record? The fact that you're not going to make the playoffs? The fact that the quarterback you actually have in there is terrible?
I mean, to me, there's a lot of other things you could talk about. I think what's funny, though, is this is year number 2 in a row. I mean, I guess now it looks like we're sort of getting on this for. We'll spend a minute or two on it. We'll move on.
Just like I said, there's really not that much. It's not like me and you were going to argue about this.
No, it's
we're pretty much similar.
That's what it is. The funny thing is, though, this is the second year in a row now where this team is below 500, and you're starting to see them, quote unquote, splinter apart. They're not. There's definitely a lack of a team camaraderie in the Jets locker room. One of your leaders last year in Santonio Holmes had to pretty much be thrown out of the huddle by an offensive lineman because of how ridiculous he was acting. Now you have guys that are anonymously going to reporters and telling them that Tebow sucks and Tebow's terrible and this, that, and the other thing. And, the simple fact of the matter with it is, what happened to the whole concept of look in the mirror? Last time I checked, football is a team game. Now, I understand, me and you even just said this to each other a matter of minutes ago on the car ride down here, of the fact that, the quarterback gets too much credit when they win and gets all, pretty much all the blame when they lose. And fine, Tebow's not your quarterback. He's not. Last I checked, he doesn't run out to the field as your starting quarterback.
Nope.
And on top of that, last time I checked, this team pretty much has not one single offensive weapon outside of Keller, who has been battling injuries all year and is still trying to get himself into football shape. You have a defense that prides itself on getting to the quarterback, yet you have no pass rushers at all. We got Aaron Maben. That's your pass rusher?
No, they got rid of him.
Oh, they cut Maben?
They cut Maben yesterday.
Oh, okay. So you cut Maben. So you got 30-something-year-old Calvin Pace as your leading pass rusher? Muhammad Wilkerson and Quentin Coples? I mean, no disrespect. Look, Muhammad Wilkerson and Quentin Coples were drafted to be defensive ends. Now, the simple fact of the matter is, nobody on this team is willing to own up to the fact. I mean, think about that game against Pittsburgh. They had that game. They could have won that game. But you get a drop pass by Stephen Hill that would have led to a first down in the red zone. You don't know where it would have went from that. You have this little stupid things here and there that happen. I mean, come on. The game against Seattle, they only score the defensive touchdown because Russell Wilson makes a bonehead move and doesn't protect the ball when he's getting sacked. I mean, it's not like that was an easily preventable, turnover. So you look at this team, and to me, the real question is, what can they do different? No. The real question is, why haven't any of these other players looked in the mirror? Why haven't they sat there and said, man, I'm sucking this year? Yeah, I mean, the one thing, anybody that plays football, every time I hear it said, it's always the same thing. The truth is in the tape. You watch the tape, and you see that Sanchez, Tebow, whoever the hell you want to blame, they're not the only issue on the field for the New York Jets. It's that simple. They are not the only issue. You have so much more. You lack any real talent on the right side of your offensive line.
They lack any real talent as far as wide receivers. They haven't run the ball well. Their defense is way, way underperformed. There are so many other issues with this team other than Tebow, but yet all the rest of this team wants to dwell on is Tebow. Why are the players who came out anonymously, didn't want to give their names, coming out and saying things?
That's my problem.
Why are you bringing him up? I don't get that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. You said it to me on the car right down here. You believe that most of the guys that probably went and said this are Rex Ryan guys.
Yeah.
They're guys that refuse to go against what he says, and he backs up Sanchez, so they refuse to not back up Sanchez as well. And now I will say on a positive note, if Sanchez is your only quarterback that people are talking about, well, then that's a good thing because your whole team has your quarterback's back, even though he's playing really bad this year. That's one thing I will say is a positive, the fact that your team is not giving up on your starting quarterback. But the fact that your team players on your team find it necessary to go to reporters, tell them that Tebow sucks, just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it, and I don't understand if it's simply, maybe they have an issue with the way that they're running the offense. Maybe they have an issue with the fact that Sanchez can complete a pass that looks nice, and you sit there and it's a moment. Not a game, but a moment in the game where you're like, oh, maybe I can see what Rex and the Jets like about Sanchez. And then they take him out of the game. You bring Tebow in for a play or two. Sanchez is on the bench standing there watching, and then comes back onto the field, and you expect him to go right back to making a play. And I heard somebody say this yesterday, and I thought it was arguably one of the best points that I've heard somebody make about this whole Tebow-Sanchez dynamic thing that they're doing. If Rex Ryan and the Jets consider Mark Sanchez their franchise quarterback, if that's what they consider him, right, then he should not be coming off the field. In New England, Brady doesn't come off the field. Rodgers doesn't come off the field. Manning doesn't come off the field. Other Manning doesn't come off the field. Hell, I don't even consider Romo an elite quarterback. Romo don't come off the field. Jay Cutler don't come off. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? You can go through all these quarterbacks that are quote-unquote stars. Not one of them is taken off of the field to run a wildcat.
No, you definitely got a point there.
And when I heard that yesterday said, I thought that was such a great point. If the Jets consider Mark Sanchez their Mark Sanchez their franchise quarterback, then that man needs to be on the field the entire game. It's that simple. So if you think that, then you know what? Just go with it. You're 3-6. What's the worst thing that happens? You lose 3 more in a row, you drop to 3-9, then you decide, screw it, we'll start Tebow for the last 4 games and see what we have at quarterback with him. Because based on how this year is going for the Jets, they're going to have to start looking into a new quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that simple. So the one positive for them is that going into this year, bless you, is the simple fact of the matter, most of the teams that are looking at a top draft pick right now, most of those teams have guys they believe are their starting quarterback for the future. You got the Cleveland with Whedon. You got Carolina with Cam. You got Kansas City with Castle. Them I could see maybe looking at a quarterback as well, because I don't think they're going to stick with Castle after this year either. They were willing to play Brady Quinn when he was healthy, so I don't see that happening. But the simple fact of the matter is, and we both agree on this is a waste of time for people. This is a headache for Jets fans, and my heart really goes out to Jets fans because I know how it feels to have your team constantly in the media in a negative point of view, in a negative slight when people, including people in the organization, had high expectations for the year. So I feel for Jet fans, I really do, because this sucks to deal with. But the players that went to the media, you know what? Unless you're going to own it, don't say it. And for the Jets franchise, you need to make a decision and play one quarterback. Stop with the Wildcat nonsense because it's not doing anything for you. And you need to accept the fact that you've done a terrible job of building this team over the last 3-4 years. And that, to me, is really your bottom line. You might want to, football might be a what's going on now league, but it takes the years and the years of drafting and putting a team together to really sit there and say, well, this is my team. It goes back to more than just what happened last Sunday. And that to me is the biggest issue when I look at the Jets, is that there's a lot more wrong with this team than just the Tebow-Sanchez dynamic, than players going to the media unanimously and making comments. This team has issues from top to bottom, inside and out. It's that simple. And that's why they can't get it together, in my opinion. So unless you have a final note with that, this ended up taking up enough time that we will hit our first music break. So unless there's one more thing you want to throw in there.
No, we went too long on it, in my opinion. I just don't. It's got to be Rex Ryan's time there. He's run his course. He's gotten too player friendly. He's letting too many people just go wild in that clubhouse. It's not going to work out well in the end. And I think at the end of the season, you're going to see Sanchez gone and Rex Ryan gone. Possibly Tannenbaum as well. Because it's just nobody
can fire
there.
Woody Johnson. I know that feeling of having an owner that you can't get rid of. Nobody can fire the owner.
You know?
He's the
and the owner's the one who wanted to bring Tebow in the first place. Mm-hmm. So it's either Rex is going to find a way to make it work or he's going to be out when they finish, right now they're looking at, 6-10 at best probably?